What's going on, guys? MariK here, back with another Dragon Ball Super video. You guys have been asking for all different kinds of videos lately. And one of the things you've been asking is, what characters do we think deserve to have a leader in Dragon Ball Super? Now, there are an extensive list of leaders. I know it seems like we see a lot of the same leaders over and over again, especially Goku's and Frieza's, even Vegeta's. But there's actually a pretty diverse list of leaders. However, there are a lot of characters that are missing from this game, and some of them that are much, much more important characters than some of the leaders that we've gotten. So, we decided to take a look at 10 characters who we think deserve a leader in Dragon Ball Super.
Number 10.
Tien Shinhan. Back in Dragon Ball, he was one of the antagonists, but overall he was pretty irrelevant as a character. In Dragon Ball Z, he was still more or less irrelevant all the way up until the Cell Saga, in which he had become strong enough to where his Tri-Beam could hold off Cell's semi-perfect form and prevent him from attempting to absorb Android 18. Now, while that did drain his life force away and, attempt to kill him, Tien remained, one of the more popular characters in the Z Fighters, and much more accomplished than some of the other Z Fighters. I almost would say I think he's better than Krillin, just in my opinion. He's definitely stronger than Yamcha, and that's why we saw him in the Tournament of Power, where we did not see Yamcha, who didn't even get an invitation. So I kind of feel it's a little shitty that, like, we did get 2 Yamcha leaders, but we can't even get a Tien leader, which is a leader people have been asking for, and that's why he is on this list.
Number 9.
Dabora, the king of the demon realm himself. Now we're not gonna get into Demigra and all, fuck all that shit. Dabora was the demon king. He's this badass, just kind of intimidating looking character. And of course, he's no match for the Z Fighters. Although Gohan, I feel like he wasn't really giving it his all. Gohan was kind of weaker anyways. Vegeta and Goku would have thrashed him, and had that been the case, had the order been different, and Vegeta not fought Pui Pui, Dabora probably would have got murdered. We saw Dabora a little bit. We saw him mentioned in Dragon Ball Super, so he is still, on the minds of Dragon Ball fans and the creators alike. And so I would kind of like to see him get a little bit more. He does get, some attention in, like, the Xenoverse games and stuff like that. But I'd like to actually get to see, some real Dabora cards. A leader would be fantastic. We did get a couple cool, Dabora battle cards, but other than that, we just haven't seen a whole lot of him. He's been another character that's been cast aside, and honestly, I feel like he's one of the cooler characters that we got, especially from the Buu Saga, and that he deserves to get some more recognition in this game.
Number 8.
Android 16. We got Android 17. We got 2 Android 17s. We got an Android 18. We got a Dr. Gero Android 20 now. We got 2 21s. Android 16 deserves a leader. He was a badass character. He proved to be more powerful than even Android 17, who was, up until 16 revealed himself, the strongest android in the timeline, in canon. And then Android 16 comes out of nowhere and just starts beating the shit out of Imperfect Cell. Of course, then once he absorbs 18, his power is ridiculously diminished, but a cool character nonetheless. He gets rebuilt, joins the Z Fighters in the fight against Cell, although we don't really get to see him fight, which is kind of sad. But I always thought 16 was a really cool character. The lore, the background to his character, his design being based off of Dr. Gero's son, who died back during a war with the Red Ribbon Army, which is it's cool that they had that kind of backstory for him, even though it's not his own backstory. But I always thought Android 16 was a cool character, and coming from the Cell Saga, which is my favorite, I feel like he is pretty deserving of a leader for himself.
Number 7.
Goten. Now, while we already have a leader for Goten, and I love the design, the art is awesome, and I like that it's a promo, so it's got that really cool foil. But Goten got shit on. Now, if his ability wasn't, hey, activate it and then negate this ability for the rest of the game, it could have been a good leader, I think. It could have been somewhat playable. But having any ability in this game that just says negate this skill for the game is absolutely stupid, especially on a leader. Because at that point, there's zero reason to play that leader. I think it was the set 6 yellow Gohan leader got the same treatment. It's absolutely stupid. Now, while Goten isn't a super important character, he's not, as relevant as some of the other characters, and we did get a leader for him. We did get a leader for Trunks, but I feel like Goten just deserves a better leader. And considering Goten was supposed to take up the mantle from the Goku's lineage, and he was supposed to be the main character of the Buu saga before all of that drama happened. But I personally like Goten. I like Kid Trunks too, until his attitude starts getting in the way. But Kid Goten, like his personality just all around, it's just like Kid Goku from Dragon Ball, except I actually kind of like Goten a little bit better.
Number 6.
Whis. I know I cannot be the only person who thinks that Whis deserves a leader. First of all, how did Vados get a leader before Whis did? We got a leader for her all the way back in set 1. And while we did get battle cards for both Whis and Vados in set 1, we are like 14 sets in without getting a single Whis leader. Whis is as relevant to the Dragon Ball Super story as Beerus. They literally go hand in hand. They are rarely seen apart from each other. And while, yes, we haven't yet to see how powerful Whis is, and I kind of like that. I kind of want it to stay to where we don't know just how much stronger Whis is compared to Beerus, because it takes away from his character, I feel like. But I would like to see at least one day we see him just completely thrash a villain, and, just prove that there's a reason why he is, able to sit there and just mock Beerus, a god of destruction, with a very short temper, and just be a smartass to him, and not have a care in the fucking world. Plus, he's just great comic relief in the show. And honestly, I feel like we should have had a Whis leader long before half the fucking leaders we've gotten in this game.
Number 5.
Android 18. Now, I realize we got an Android 18 leader in set 8, and that wasn't too terribly long ago, but that Android 18 leader was just bad. I mean, more or less, like, her gimmick on the Awakened side was cool, but for the most part, she was she did the same thing that the Android 21 leader did, except not as good. And all of her cards, the support, none of it had to do with androids. It was all like the weird token shit to go along with the Fighter Z storyline, and that shit should have stayed to Android 21. Android 18 should have gotten a leader that had to do more with what Android 18 actually is. I would have preferred we had a leader that, like the Android 17, gave some kind of bonus to androids or had something to do with androids. Just something to stick to the theme instead of her going along with the Android 21 shit that was all about the story mode to a game that most people got because they wanted to play the multiplayer anyways. I feel like Android 18 got kind of just thrown in because they couldn't figure out who else to put in for that color for that set. And they're like, well, we'll just kind of make it somewhat like this one, but it'll be different enough. Maybe people will use it, but it just wasn't the case, and I don't think it gave Android 18 the justice she deserved.
Number 4.
Goku Black. We need a new Goku Black leader, especially after they shit on the first one that came out in set 2 and gave it an errata. It was a completely irrelevant leader besides the people like me who were hardcore Goku Black fans. And then they went and made it worse than it already was. If you're going to do that and make a leader more or less useless, give us a new leader for it. Now, I know we got the Goku Black / Zamasu leader in set 7. That doesn't count because it's not even Goku Black on the Awakened side. We want something that is strictly Goku Black for Goku Black support. I don't want to sit there and awaken and then not be able to play a card because it says my leader needs to be Goku Black when it was before it awakened. That's just absolute garbage. Goku Black had one of, if not the best, my personal favorite arc in Dragon Ball Super. It was a really cool character. It was a really cool concept to, take a villain and, he basically is in a hero's body. It's not something we've seen before in the Dragon Ball universe. And I thought it was a really cool spin on it, especially, episode after episode, week after week, you're just waiting to find out what the hell's actually going on and who the origin is of Goku Black, and it's just really cool. And I really do like a lot of the support for Goku Black, but that Goku Black Zamasu leader from set 7, I just don't care for it. And I think we need a new dedicated Goku Black leader.
Number 3.
Number 3 on this list is King Cold. Now, the top 3 are leaders I've been asking for a long time, and I really, really wasn't sure which order to put them in. I eventually decided to put King Cold at number 3 just because I like the other two characters a bit better. I really liked King Cold in the anime. I know we didn't really see much about him. We get a little glimpse of him in Dragon Ball Super, but he's just this big-ass Frieza, basically. And all we really know about him is that he and Frieza are the only two of their species that are this ridiculously powerful. I mean, I guess Cooler would have to be as well, because Cooler, gained a form past Frieza's final form. But since the movies aren't technically canon, and I don't believe there's any mention at all of Frieza even having a brother, or King Cold having another son in the anime. So I think that it just doesn't really count altogether. But King Cold is just this massive monster. I mean, King Cold is the one that built this empire, not Frieza. King Cold had this empire before Frieza was even born. And, back then it was called the Cold Force. And King Cold was just much more humble. He was more, I don't know, I liked his persona more. Frieza was just a dick, and he was just like, oh, I own you, you do what I want. Where King Cold just kind of, he had a better, a calmer demeanor about him. And, I honestly don't care if we got King Cold Dragon Ball Z, or King Cold, I guess it'd be BR, Broly, whatever they want to call it. Just give us, some King Cold stuff. Because every time we get a King Cold card, I'm like, yes, more King Cold stuff. Because I like the character. But it always ends up being just a shit card. It ends up being something that doesn't even get played in most decks. And it's saddening. And we've gotten Frieza support all since set 1. We've gotten some more Cooler support recently. Hell, Chilled, who's not even a canon character, from a fucking, I think it's a fan-made episode, where, Super Saiyan Bardock fights Chilled, which is one of their ancestors. How did he get a leader and multiple cards before King Cold? I mean, King Cold did get one card in set 1, but then why was he not the why was he not the character that got a leader in set 2? Why was it Chilled? I feel like it's just kind of a bad decision on Bandai's part. Not only that it hurts the game, but just decision-wise, I feel like King Cold was a much better choice for a leader than Chilled.
Number 2.
Future Gohan. If you guys know me, if you followed long enough, you know how much I love Future Gohan. He is my favorite iteration of Gohan. Most people, prefer Super Saiyan Kid Gohan. or Super Saiyan 2 rather. I used to prefer Ultimate Gohan from the Buu saga. That was my personal favorite. And then, growing up, it's kind of changed. I've kind of come to appreciate Future Gohan a bit more. And since we got to see a glimpse of him in Dragon Ball Super, it'd be really cool for them to finally bring him into the game. I mean, we got a Future Gohan back in set 2. He was one of those combo to play cards. And then in I believe set 7, we got our second Future Gohan. He was one of those counterplay battle cards. Really liked that card, really liked the art. But then with with set 10, we got our third Future Gohan card, which was basically just a garbage super combo that fucking A, you're not going to use. The first two Future Gohans were good to play. The combo to play cards were easily some of the better cards back in the day. The counterplay is not too bad as long as you're running a blue deck, but even then, it's just not great. And I would love to see a whole archetype centered around Future Gohan, or even Future Gohan and Future Trunks, and give us a badass Future Gohan leader.
Number 1.
Future Trunks. Now, I know this is debatable because out of all the characters on this list, Future Trunks already has 2 leaders. Technically, so does Goku Black, I suppose, but I want, and I believe that we need a Dragon Ball Z Future Trunks. We have now gotten 2 Dragon Ball Super Future Trunks. And while the first one that came out in set 2, I loved it. It was a fun card to play with. The leader and the archetype for set 10 were cool and enjoyable. But I want Super Saiyan Trunks. Either from when he, showed up out of nowhere, beat the shit out of Frieza, showed King Cold who's boss, something like that. Or give us my personal favorite, Cell Saga Trunks. Give us that Ultra Ascended Saiyan, that grade 2, beat your ass, super thick boy. That's what I want to see. I want to see that. We got 4 Dragon Ball Z Trunks. We got a base form and a Super Saiyan form in set 1. We got Ascended Saiyan grade 1 and Ascended Saiyan grade 2 in set 2. But that's it. Every other version of Trunks has been Dragon Ball Super Trunks. I want to see some good old Cell Saga Trunks again. That's my personal favorite. The form was just amazing. And when he started using it, he started whooping up on Cell before he got too big, before he got too swole. It was awesome. It's a great moment, fantastic fight, and it kills me the most because the Japanese card ass or whatever game that this is based off of, they have like 4 or 5, maybe 6 Future Trunks leaders. Most of which are Frieza Saga, end of the Frieza Saga, Cell Saga, whatever, Android Saga, I think, where he fights Frieza, and here, where he fights Cell. Give us some good old classic Dragon Ball Z Trunks. That's what I want to see, and I've been asking for that for I don't even know how long. Especially as, since they were doing the surveys and like, what would you like to see? Give me Cell Saga Trunks. That's always the first one that I mention. And that is why that is the number 1 card on this list. So that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I understand some of you may disagree with these choices, but for the most part, some of these characters do deserve leaders. Do they deserve them in the order that I mentioned them? That's kind of biased, but I did do some thinking on which characters, we already had leaders for, who we didn't have leaders for, and there are some honorable mentions. I thought about adding Launch to this list, but Launch was completely forgotten. I don't even know if we see her at all in Dragon Ball Z. I feel like there is maybe a scene or two that she's in DBZ, but I don't even remember. And let's be honest, Dragon Ball is, as far as popularity goes, I'm not saying it was a bad series, but it's the least relevant, especially for if you're trying to come up with some good cards for this game. Uh, Dragon Ball Z, GT, Super, those are all better as far as characters and story quality. And the reason launch is on the in the honorable mentions list is because I feel like there could be a cool awakening gimmick with her sneezing and changing between the blue hair and the blonde, and but that's something that I don't honestly know that whether or not they could handle that properly, and so I don't know that I want Bandai to even try it. Nappa was another honorable mention. Nappa's a pretty cool character. We got Raditz already, and I liked Raditz a bit better, but I think you could do some cool stuff with Nappa. And same thing with, now this one's a bit controversial, I suppose, because we do have plenty of Vegetas, but I want like a good old Saiyan Saga Vegeta, where he's in his, classic styled armor with the shoulder pads and shit. Maybe on the Awakened side, he's a great ape, or you could even do Frieza Saga, where he's got that, what is it, like the old style armor that doesn't have the shoulders, but it doesn't quite have like the gold shoulder straps either, like he has in, the Cell Saga and even after. But those are kind of other characters I thought would be cool to have leaders for, but just didn't make the cut because I felt like obviously the top 10 would be a little bit, better in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if there's a character you guys think needs some attention and some love in this game, and what you think of our list. And again, this is all my opinion. Love to hear yours in the comments down below. With that, we're going to go ahead and get the freak out of here, and we'll see you guys in the next video.